New Orleans, a city filled with tragedy, joy, and prankster ghosts. Is it possible to live in this city without encountering a spirit or two from time to time? Is it even possible to live in the Deep South without angering an uppity, lingering presence? Jennifer grew up in the Big Easy, but even after she left her hometown, the ghosts continued to bug her. Hear stories from a perpetually haunted person. Today on Homespun Haints.
Hello, Hainted Loves. Welcome to Homespun Haints. I'm Becky.
Hey, I'm Diana.
And today on the show, we are thrilled to bring on Jennifer, who is also haunted. We've had some Jennifers here on the past, and she is no different. And she's also our newest patron. Yay! We are so excited to have you as part of our family, Jennifer. So thank you so much for being here.
I'm fangirling right now, no lie. I really don't believe that this is real, that I am on with the Becky and the Diana, and I'm totally having a spooky day already.
Yes! Excellent. That is our goal. So goal met already.
Yay!
Well done. All right. This episode's all about Jennifer, not Becky and Diana.
Yes, it is. Well, Jennifer, we just learned that you have, you're also a cat lady.
I am.
And you have two beautiful creatures asleep next to you right now.
I do. We have Loki, our little orange. Well, he's not little anymore. He's quite the chunk. Never name a pet after the god of mischief. You will get what you deserve, everyone. Here he comes. Yeah. Good Lord, he's coming.
Are we gonna get
coming to say
cameo?
Hi. We're getting a cameo of Loki. Come here, cat.
Cameo.
No, you want
Cameo.
Oh, he's so cute.
He is.
He's trouble. He looks like a big piece of bubblegum.
He's a mess.
I believe you, not naming cats after mischievous gods. I named a cat Puck one time.
There you go.
And yeah, before we had a chance to test out the name and the behavior issue, I think he got out, and my mom was wandering around the neighborhood, and she was really embarrassed, yelling that at the top of her lungs around the neighborhood. So his name got changed. I was overruled.
I mean, do you need a pet that's a walking Fey trap? I mean, really, you're asking for trouble.
You're probably correct. That cat was a very good cat. So.
You find him in a ring of mushrooms, you're done, man. That's just it. Yeah.
He did just disappear for a few months there, and we thought he was gone forever, and then boom, there he was again. Months later, unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing cat.
Well, Jennifer, we usually start off these episodes with a kind of a funny story that doesn't really have a lot to do with ghosts, but may have something to do with just, I don't know. It sounds like you're a spooky Gen Xer like us.
I am. I grew up. I'm from New Orleans originally, where everything is haunted. You just get used to everything being haunted.
Have you been there your whole life?
I was there up until I left New Orleans for college, and then Hurricane Katrina had other plans.
Yeah. So then you moved to a state that never gets hurricanes.
Oh no, absolutely not. We've never had anything here down in Texas. No, it's No hurricanes, no ice storms, nothing. Everything is just hunky-dory.
This is the weird thing about putting all of your life out there on audio, that when you talk to somebody, it'll be like, oh, let me tell you a funny story. And they're like, oh, I know that one already. So yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about going down to Florida. And I was like, oh, cool, Florida. And they were like, tell me I'm not going to be anywhere near the Octagon House. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you know about that. Speaking of, so bless her heart. Maybe I shouldn't. Okay, I'll share this.
Do it.
So speaking of my family, I don't think I told this story yet. My grandmother, my poor dear grandmother, she's the last living grandmother I have, and she lived in the Octagon House, but since she's been moved out and in a home, and my cousins are taking really good care of her, but she she doesn't know where she is anymore. You know, she's got some pretty strong dementia. She mostly babbles, but when she does say things, like, you can pick out names and stuff like that. So my cousin, she called me about a month ago, and she's like, well, I almost called you to come down here again because, you know, Grandma keeps being on death's door and then bouncing back. I mean, this woman has had COVID 3 times in the last, like, 2-3 years. She's 94. She's going to be 95 in October. She'll fall. Like, she'll just fall. And then she'll just get right back up again and just keep dancing. And she's... So, I mean, she's just a tough lady. Well, anyway, she was kind of on death's door again. She's at the hospital. She's throwing up black bile. She's not able to eat anything. And then she goes into the bed and she closes her eyes, and she doesn't open her eyes for 3 days. And my cousin is just like holding her hand, lying with her, saying things like, it's okay, Grandma, you know, you don't have to stay for me. It's okay if you need to leave. Before this had happened, Grandma had started saying the names of some of people who've recently passed, like her husband and her brother, her mom. You know, she would say these things. And so, you know, when people start seeing their dead loved ones, you usually know it's time.
Yeah.
And the doctors are coming in and they're talking about funeral arrangements. Like, we're all like, okay, this is it. And after 3 days, like one morning, my cousin wakes up and Grandma's there asleep and she's patting her hand, and another cousin comes in. And it's like a circus. This cousin comes in with her 3 kids, 2 are twins, her son, and like little kids. And they come barreling into the hospital room and balancing 24 donuts. These kids are like, these donuts. They come running, and they just stop by Dunkin' on their way. And they're just like hollering and everything. And one of the kids goes, Grandma, you want a donut? You know, little kid, completely oblivious that this old lady has not opened her eyes for 3 days. Grandma sits right up in bed, opens her eyes, and goes, yeah, I want a donut.
The curative power of carbs.
So my cousin, who's been with her for 3 days, literally was just like, I'm out. Your problem now. Just left. She's like, I can't believe that. Like, she took off from work. She's like, if I had known all it would take was some Dunkin' Donuts. You know?
Who knew? Grandma ran on Dunkin'. It's
Yeah.
I
respect it.
So I was immediately thinking of that scene from I don't know if you ever saw that Woody Allen movie Sleeper, where he wakes up 200 years in the future. He's been cryogenically frozen. He wakes up 200 years in the future, and everyone has basically discovered that what we know as health food is terrible for you and kills you, and what you really need to do to live a long time is to eat bacon and donuts. And I was like, this it's prophetic. Woody Allen's right.
I need to change my grocery list.
Yeah, right.
You'll have to try that with every family member going forward, just in case. Just, you know,
Well,
an emergency,
just the
like,
ones-
resuscitation process.
Just the ones you like. Like, the ones you don't like, bring in, like, a bowl of grape nuts or something. It's like, I brought you something. You're like, oh, I'm not eating. I'm still not eating. I'm just going to starve to death.
All you have to do is open your mouth. Yeah, wow. You know, people are always shocked to find out that I don't like things like chocolate and babies and dogs and donuts. Like, donuts are one of my least favorite things in the entire world. I cannot tolerate them. I have not been able to keep a donut down since, like, probably about 10 years, at least, if not 20. It's ridiculous. I try them all the time. Well, okay, I try like one every 5 years, but still, I mean, I do keep trying. I'm not giving up completely.
Oh my gosh. What are we going to do when you're on death's door, Diana? Bring you some kale?
Bacon, just bacon. I mean, you're really good at bacon, Becky. I'm not worried.
I'm very good. I'm a
you got
Southerner.
me.
I can fry anything.
Just if donuts and bacon are the new like curative health foods out there, then really I trust you. I know you're going to come in with cast iron skillet smoking.
Well, Jennifer,
Yes.
are you ready to share some spooky stories with us?
Oh, my body is ready.
Okay. Well, before
We're all sweaty and excited too.
Yeah, I know.
before we start with that, though, we have to make the announcement about our Patreon and how Jennifer doesn't have to hear this because she's already joined.
Why haven't y'all?
Exactly. It's very easy.
Don't take our word for it.
And you get fast track to interview status if that's what you want. So, I mean, how long did it take you? Like, what, 3 days or something after you joined?
Something like that. Like I joined on a Friday and I made the video on a Friday and I think you emailed me the next Tuesday or something. Like
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So if you're not a member of our Patreon, it's patreon.com/homespunhaints. But I think Jennifer can attest to how great it is, all the extra content.
It is. There's so much more banter. I have learned so many things. And you can too. If you go ahead and join the Patreon, remember, homespunhaints.com. And worth every single penny, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate that. Yes, we're so glad that you're a patron. And to all of you out there who are future patrons, in the meantime, here's a commercial for you.
Oh man, I had a rough day.
What happened, honey?
I was out with the guys and
And
they said I wasn't spooky enough.
Oh, honey, how could they say that to you? You're hella spooky.
You think so?
Of course. After all, you came up with the ectoplasm being ghost jizz theory, and you've been scratched by more horny ghosts than anyone else I know.
Well, I suppose you're right.
But if you're really worried about it, I have just the thing.
Oh, wow! A spooky AF t-shirt?
That's right. Our Spooky AF line comes in shirt, sweatshirt, pillow, and even a high-quality mug.
Man, those are super awesome, especially for something with profanity on it.
What's even better, all these items were hand-lettered exclusively for Homespun Haints by world-renowned calligrapher Nikki Malik.
Holy ghostly cannoli, that's amazing.
From now on, whenever you brandish your Spooky AF gear, no one will accuse you of being boring.
Yeah, I'm Spooky AF.
Visit homespunhaints.com for all Spooky AF merchandise.
So, Jennifer, you have so many stories. You said, a 40-minute video, I believe. It was a lot of stuff.
So many things have happened throughout my life. It all started when I was really little, growing up. It was right outside New Orleans. It was on, like kind of way down on the bayou shack. In my great grandparents' house, my great grandfather had passed way before, and then my grandmother passed when I was in the second grade. Bella and Moise. They're very French. Very French.
My.
That was actually how I learned how to curse in French, is I would hear them, the house that they lived in, it was a raised house. And you could still hear them walking around, and you could hear people like almost talking in French. And of course, I didn't really understand anything. And then I heard the word merde, and I didn't know what that was. So I kept repeating it. And my mother said, "Where did you learn that?" "From the house." And
you just named this episode, Ghosts Taught Me to Cuss in French. That's just an amazing place to start. Thank you.
It really, yes. Years passed, and I'm around 10, and I'm obnoxious because all 10-year-olds are obnoxious. And I'm a brownie. I'm in it for the Girl Scout cookies, as one is.
Yeah.
And we went to a plantation. Remember, Louisiana in the 80s. I've learned since then, but back then I didn't know.
That was a big deal.
The 80s.
Yeah.
We go to a place called Nottoway Plantation, which is about an hour outside of New Orleans down the Mississippi River. Big, beautiful house built by enslaved people, but big, beautiful house nonetheless. We're on the tour with a whole bunch of people. It's my Girl Scout troop, and I couldn't tell you, 20, 30 people in this tour group, with the person who's wearing, the antebellum outfits. And we are on the second floor. I don't remember anything else of the tour except for like 2 rooms. So we're on the second floor, and we had just come from this little bedroom into this large like living area. And on one side of the house, the wall was curved. On this curved wall was a portrait of a lady. Do not ask me who this lady was. I have no idea, but she comes up in a minute. So this is a very long room. So everybody is up towards the front of the room listening to this tour guide, speak and say all the historical facts about the room and about the person in the portrait. And what am I doing? I'm in the very back of the room, going back and forth because the tour guide had said, no matter where you stand in the room, it looks like the portrait is looking at you. So I'm going back and forth going, ooh, look, she's still looking at me. She's still looking at me. She's still looking at me. And this is how I found out I'm sensitive to the other side. And most of the time I don't hear things, I feel things. And okay. I stopped in my tracks because that feeling when someone yells at you like really, really intensely, like your mom or a teacher or somebody, authority figure that just tells you to stop. I felt like someone had just yelled at me and I stopped and I froze. And everyone's still in the front of the room listening to the tour guide tell the tale. And I know it was the girl in the portrait who told me to stop. I ran out to the next room, to that bedroom that we had been in. My Girl Scout leader sees me run, and she comes to the next room. She's like, Jennifer, are you okay? Nope. No, I'm not okay. Do you want to come back in the room with her? No, I am not going back in there. I am not going back. No, I refused. Luckily, they had to come back through that bedroom to go and continue on with the tour. That was when a ghost yelled at me because I was 10 and I was obnoxious. The other thing was downstairs. It was the absolute last room that you went through on the tour. It was a music room, and it was like the little velvet ropes that keep you in the line. Well, you went around the perimeter of the room in the little velvet ropes. And there's in the middle, there's like a harpsichord and a piano and a harp and cello. And, Becky, you would have dug it. And like beautiful, beautiful old musical instruments. But the one thing that the tour guide told us was before you go in, whatever you do, don't step on the carpet. The carpet is very, very old.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 10 and I'm obnoxious and I don't pick up my feet. I shuffle. I'm walking around the perimeter of the room. I shuffle my feet, right? And my foot gets caught under the corner of the carpet and it flips up. What do? I look around to make sure no one has seen me, right? Someone saw me because I got that feeling again that I was being yelled at, but it was by somebody else. I don't know who. Somebody else. I could not get out of that building fast enough. Could not.
Ooh.
I did see and it's one of the few times I've ever seen stuff. Most of the time I just feel things. I did see a very tall man by the door. I could not tell you what he looked like. I just knew he was really tall.
This is also the same mansion?
This is also the same mansion. And I wish I still had this picture. I really wish I still had this picture. It was a victim of Hurricane Katrina, and I lost it with a lot of the other pictures. But I took a picture from the second floor because there was this really neat looking statue down in the garden. It's like, oh, that's really cool. So I took a picture. Behind the statue, you can see it's human height, and it looked like it was a dress with a train.
Oh.
I wish I had this picture. I wish that you didn't have to take my word for it. I wish you could include it in the show notes. But God bless America, I don't have it because hurricanes are stupid. So that was when I was 10. And I was obnoxious. And ghosts yelled at me. I was
Scolded by ghosts.
Scolded by ghosts.
And apparently we're watching you too from behind the statue and at the door. Like, is she gone yet?
Like, what is she going to do now? She going to, like, knock over this priceless vase or something? You know, like...
Well, you know what? They're a bunch of stuck-up people, and they were slave owners, so don't respect what they think.
No, absolutely not. I don't mind. You know what? I'll yell back at the racists, so there's that.
Exactly. I'm glad you scuffed their carpet.
Take that.
Okay, so you learned how to curse from a ghost.
I did.
But you didn't realize you were sensitive until one or two yelled at you.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't end there.
Oh no, the adventures continue, Becky. So I don't know whether I, like, consciously blocked stuff out for a long time, because after the ghost yelled at me, or ghosts as it were, I just didn't try to reach out and figure things out until college. College happens. It's our last year in college, and me and two of my friends decide we're going to rent a house. So we find this lovely little house. It's about a mile off of campus. It's got a front porch that is so, like a gigantic front porch, which became like the place where we all came and partied because we had the best porch. And it was a little 3-bedroom, 1 bath. Oh yeah. No central heat. No central air. No dishwasher.
Where was this?
This was in Mississippi.
Oh, okay. And
this
no
is in
dishwasher.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
No dishwasher.
Yuck.
Yeah. Oh no. It was a great house. It really was. One night, one of my roommates was out, so it was just me and my other roommate, and we had just made dinner because we were quasi-responsible college students, but as completely responsible college students, we were sitting in the living room eating our dinner, watching cartoons. That's when we heard a clatter in the kitchen, like something fell. So we both get up and we walked out there. And, okay, the appliances were from the 70s. They were that golden mustard yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Goldenrod.
Goldenrod. That was it. Goldenrod. It's like, so it was that goldenrod. Both the refrigerator and the stove oven. The stove was really, really wide. And on one side, you had like a little workspace. And we had left a spoon on that little workspace. There is no way that spoon could have fallen because it was right smack dab in the middle of the stove. We walk into the kitchen. It's in the middle of the floor. And that's when we see that we left one of the eyes of the stove on. We're like, oh, snap. Let's turn that off because that's a safety hazard. And it was after that we started to see her. She was a little bit shorter than me. Gray hair. Flower print dress. We never knew her name. We called her Grandma. And she took care of us. We had no idea we had rented a haunted house. Grandma was absolutely great to us. We could hear her it was, once again, a raised house, like on cinder blocks. So you could hear her walking around the house. She got very upset with us when we didn't do the dishes. Like I said, we didn't have a dishwasher. We were the dishwashers. So when the dishes would pile up, Grandma would stand in front of the sink and tap her foot until we went and did the dishes.
So you would see her standing there, or you would hear her?
We wouldn't see her. We would hear her. We would hear her tapping her foot, and it would get more and more impatient. Whoa. And we're like, okay, great. All right. Sorry, Grandma. Okay, fine. We'll do the dishes.
Until somebody acquiesced and did the dishes by hand.
Yes. So, we kept the house pretty clean because she demanded it.
Still scolded by ghosts after all these years.
I know, right? Like, for real. But Sometimes she would tuck us in. She would tuck us in. She would, like, the covers would actually come up to our chin, and she would, like, pat and it was completely out of love. We never felt threatened by it.
Oh, wow.
It was, she was very loving.
Still, the first time, that must have been
The first time was
concerning.
Oh, yes. Yes, it was a little bit unsettling, but once we figured out, Grandma's tucking us in. Like, she would tuck us in and would just go, "Good night, Grandma." And go to sleep, and that was it. No, now one time, she did go too far. Now, I know how y'all are with ghosts in bathrooms. Here is story number 1 of 2. Spoiler, there's another ghost in bathroom story coming soon. But this is the first one. So I am home alone. I'm taking a shower. I am washing this like frizz mop of a hairdo. And I've got my hands in the front, soaping up. You know, I got my shampoo, soaping up the front of my head. When I feel a hand at the back of my head helping me shampoo my hair.
That's not just horror movie. That's Japanese horror movie scary.
No lie, I probably peed a little bit, but luckily I was in the shower.
You were in the shower, thank goodness.
It was convenient.
I would have.
There was that. It took me a moment to realize what was happening, but once it clicked, I just went, "Grandma, I am a big girl. I can shampoo my hair by myself." That hand went away, and she never tried that again. Hell no.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
Oh my gosh. It was, that one was intense. And my other 2 roommates had to have conversations with her. Like, we had to just put that out. Like, "Grandma, no, you're not coming in the bathroom with
shower.
us. No,
No.
we are not. This is not a thing that we are doing."
We have to have a conversation about helpful behavior. Yeah.
Yes. We had to set boundaries with our ghost.
Well, it's amazing. Your ghost actually respected your boundaries after that?
She did.
Amazing.
You know, she took care of us. It's just sometimes, and just like, "Grandma, back up." Oh, here was another thing. Whenever we would come in too late at night, as one does when you're in college, you could feel her, like, sitting on the couch, upset. That you were, especially like when it was me and my other, like, female roommate. She would, when we would come in too late, we'd lock the door and rush through the living room. It's like, "Grandma, I'm a grown woman. I can do what I want," and just, like, go through. It's like, no.
Nice.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
Wow. So you had that house for your senior year.
Yes.
And that was it.
And that was it.
And then you moved on. Did she follow you? Did your roommate stay and she's still there?
Hold on.
Okay.
So my parents thought it would be a good idea right before we moved out the house. It's like, "Hey, let's have a Catholic priest come over and help Grandma move to the other side."
Oh.
Maybe Grandma doesn't want to move.
Yeah, well, it's a limited time offer, so you got to offer when you can.
They had the best of intentions. So priest comes over, and I'm home alone again, and he starts going around the house with the holy water and the prayers and the blessings and the yada yada. Grandma grabs my arm, like, I could see, because I knew it was there. I could see the finger indentations on my arm. She was holding on so tight.
Oh, wow.
She did not want to leave that house. She did not want to leave. And it was the only time I heard her saying, "It's my house. I'm not leaving." And I'm just like, "Grandma, just hold on to me. I'm not going to let you go if you don't want to go." Priest left. Grandma didn't.
Wow. So at least she knew that you hadn't instigated this.
No. It's like it was her. I mean, this was a completely intelligent haunting. She knew what she was doing. She knew what she wanted, and if she wasn't ready to move on, then it wasn't her time to move on. She just stay there.
It's her house.
Yeah, it was her house. She didn't want to leave. I get that. So yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Is it time for the next bathroom story?
Actually, yes, it is. It is time for the next bathroom story.
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
It was actually that summer after I moved out of the haunted house. Went back to New Orleans for a little while before starting the whole career thing and becoming a real adult. Which is nonsense, by the way. Don't do it, kids. It's a trap.
It is a trap. It's a box with a stick.
It is, and you get poked with a stick, and it's not fun. So, my friends and I, we decided that we're going to be tourists in our own city, and we're going to go on the Ghost and Vampire Tour.
It's a good one.
So we go to the Ghost and Vampire Tour, which originated in a bar called the Morgue. Fun fact. It was the New Orleans City Morgue during the malaria epidemic. Thousands of bodies passed through that building. And what do we do in New Orleans? We turned it into a bar.
Yeah, in New Orleans, it's automatically a bar. It's a themed bar, a morgue-themed bar. It's a simple decision-making algorithm.
It actually was a morgue-themed bar. You walked in and there was like Grim Reapers and you know, gravestones and all that jazz all around. So we're hanging out beforehand, and this is like a 2.5 hour walking tour. So I figured, it's a really good idea if I pee beforehand. It's the smart thing to do. So I go into the bathroom, which is about, 2 feet square. It is the tiniest bathroom that you would ever walk. So you walk in. There's one tiny stall on the right, and then another tiny stall. It's like they're facing kind of opposite directions, but they're both on the same wall. You walk in, and doors behind you. There's the sink when you walk in. Above the sink is the mirror. Above the mirror is a shelf. On the shelf is a doll with a little dress and curly hair. Above the doll is a sign that says, "Please leave this doll alone. It's for the little girl that haunts the bathroom." And I just go, okay. Like I said, you're raised in New Orleans, everything's haunted. You're just like, oh, okay. Yeah. You just kind of assume when you walk in. Now, for this entire time, I am the only person in the bathroom. No one has entered. No one has left. I go into the first stall. I close the door. Now, when you go into a bathroom in an old building, you can see how someone has gone and drilled new holes in the bathroom stall walls so that the new lock can actually slide through because the foundation has gone cattywampus. Welcome to New Orleans. So it was one of those little locks that slide and then latches down. So I close the door, slide, latch, and I'm starting to undo my pants, as one does. And I'm not looking at the door. My head is down. The door opens. And I think, okay, I just didn't close it well enough. It happens to the best of us. Let me just make sure that lock is nice and secure before I decide to do my business. So I close the door. I make sure that lock is in there. Jiggle the door a little bit. So I go like this. I'm pulling my pants down. My eyes are level with the lock. No one has entered. No one has left. That lock slides open and the door opens. It's one of the few times I have heard something.
Oh, no.
It was a little giggle.
Of course it was.
Now, I am in a very precarious situation. Because I am in a state of undress. And that door is open and I can't reach it without stepping out. And what if someone walks in and here we are. So I'm like, you know what? I have asked something of a ghost before. I shall do it again. My hands are on my pants. No one has entered. No one has left. And I go, sweetheart, I understand you want to play, but I need to use the restroom. Will you close the door, please? The door closed. The lock slid shut.
Oh,
Dude.
And I have never peed faster in my life.
From scolded by ghosts to scolding ghosts. I
Indeed.
feel like everything's come full circle.
So, I finish in the stall, and I go out, and I'm washing my hands, and I look up. I don't see her, but I know that she's behind me. I can feel her, and I'm feeling like this like childlike, like tee-hee moment. You know, it's like, ha ha, I played a trick on you.
Yeah.
And so what do? I look where I think she is, and I smile, and I wave at her. And I leave.
I thought you were going to say you splashed water over your shoulder.
No. She's just a kid. She didn't
She's
know
just
any
having a good
better.
time.
She's just having a good time. So I go and I tell my friends, and the bartender says, oh, yeah, she does that all the time. She won't go in the men's bathroom. She just does it in the women's bathroom. It's like, you know what? That's good.
Have they tried putting the doll in the men's bathroom?
I don't know. Now, the bar was also a victim of Hurricane Katrina and shut down, and that building has been for sale forever. And the only thing I hope is that, you know, that little girl was left some toys, something to entertain herself, because I don't have the $3.5 million it would take to buy that building in the French Quarter, because who has that type of money except for like Nicolas Cage?
well, he's bankrupt now because he bought the LaLaurie
Because of
mansion
the
and he's
LaLaurie.
cursed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Jennifer, what happened next? Do you have more?
I do. I've got one more. And this is why when I was listening to the episode where you're like, oh, I'm going to go to Key West and I'm going to go see Robert Dahl. And I'm like, yes, Becky can experience what I experienced.
Uh-oh.
And then you didn't go. And I'm like,
No, it's too chicken shit.
girl, no. Okay.
All the locals told her not to.
Okay, well, let me tell you why you should. Okay, so a couple years ago, I went on a cruise with a bunch of friends, and the first stop was in Key West, and I'm like, we have to go see Robert the Doll. We have to. And I could only rope one of my friends into it, and Robert the Doll was the main pull, but it was also like a lot of local history, and also there was a whole wing of local art. It was phenomenal. Had experience there too. But let me back up. You go in and you pay your money to the nice little guy in the front where, you know, there's the gift shop with all the Robert the Doll coffee mugs, you know, if that's your thing.
Do you have to ask permission to get the coffee mug?
I don't know. I didn't buy any merch. We walk down the hallway, and there's Robert the Doll in his little glass enclosure with all the letters of apology and this music box type music that was playing. And I acknowledged him, said, hey, how's it going? We're gonna go through the rest of the fort, and we'll see you later, sir. Like, I was just very respectful towards him because I know better. In the very middle of the fort, I believe it was called the Citadel. It was dark. It was cooler because it was like, you know, a billion degrees outside. So my friend and I decided to go in just to get some cool air. We walk in, and I'm like, oh, no. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, okay. I can feel ghosts. There's something in here, and it's pissed. It is like super mega angry. It's not like angry at us. It's just angry in general. She's like, do we have to leave? I'm like, no. We'll just give it its space. Him, her, they, I don't know. Give this being the space that they need, and we will be okay. Let's enjoy the cool because, you know, we deserve to have space too. So it's like a little circle. There's really not much to see in there. It's just nice and dark and cold. We walk around it, and we're about to walk out. And that's when I realized the little room that we have to walk through is where this angry person is. I'm like, oh gosh. Now what I should have done is I should have turned my happy self around and walked out the way I came. But did I? No, because sometimes we make bad choices. So I walk through and I just hold my head down and I just go, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I am so sorry, and just like rush out. And I'm apologizing the entire time. My friend, who has never had a ghostly experience before, walks out calmly behind me, and then she looked and she does this and she's like, why do I have goosebumps? And I went, oh God, you walked through a ghost. Are you okay? Are you okay? She's like, why do I have goosebumps? It is 300 degrees outside and I am freezing cold. It's like, baby, you just walked through a ghost. Are you okay? It's okay. It's okay. It happens to us all. You're fine. You're fine. Just breathe. So that was her first experience with the paranormal at all. So we decide, hey, it's time for local art. Yay, local art. We're walking through and there's this space where the floor kind of dips. And my friend goes, oh, I don't like it right here. And I went, what do you mean? She's like, stand right here. And so I stand right there. And I'm feeling an energy. And I can't quite put my hand on it. So I'm looking around trying to debunk it. Right? It's like, is there exposed wiring? Is this a Faraday cage situation? Is there some sort of weird air conditioning vent somewhere? And that's when I feel hands on my shoulders and it's just gently pushing me back. And I go, oh, this is a warning. And I'm wondering, why is this a warning? And that's when I notice there's a tunnel that's blocked off just a little bit around the corner. And I'm curious. So I go, I'll be okay. I just want to see. So I go closer to the tunnel and it's like, you can't see down it. It's pitch black down there. The electricity's off. And I have no idea what was down there. I hesitate to use the word evil. It's more like it felt wrong. Because I knew whatever was down there. I don't know if it meant if it had ill intent, if it meant harm or whatever. It's like, I don't belong down there. So whatever was there was warning people, don't go down there. It's not safe for you.
Do you have any idea where the tunnel would have led to if it was followed?
It was just another hall of the fort that was cut off for renovations or something.
Renovations. Portal to hell.
That's where. I'm sure there was a mirror at the end of it. We went back out and we were talking to the little guy who ran the gift shop. And he's like, oh yeah, there's something down that tunnel. And there's something keeping people safe from that tunnel. I don't want to go down there. It's like, oh, okay. Well, we got, and the thing that was, kind of odd, my friend picked up on it before I did, and she had never had an paranormal experience before, but I guess she was kind of primed for it because she walked through the ghost. We were about to leave, and I said, all right, let's go tell Robert goodbye. Just to be polite. We came here to see him, so we'll just tell him goodbye. So walk down the hallway, go to him. It's like, Robert, thank you. We turn, walking down the hallway. I don't know what he said, but he acknowledged me. It was a kind of appreciative thank you as well. But I'm like, nope, I'm done. We're out. I'm done. I cannot any longer. Let's go eat key lime pie because that's the only thing that's going to make this better.
Wow. So you actually felt him acknowledge you.
Yes. He acknowledged me. Like I said, I don't hear words. I don't see things. I just get feelings, and I got a feeling of appreciation and mutual respect. It was like, nope, I'm out.
Oh,
ooh.
Yeah. See why I didn't want to visit him? Whoa. Wow. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing those with us.
Mm-hmm.
You are a delight, and you're a natural storyteller. So it's been wonderful hearing these stories.
I appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
Do you have anything that you'd like to promote?
I have a friend of mine who runs a ghost tour group in Galveston. His name it's Eddie Spector's Ghost Tours. He says that it is the #1 best ghost tour in Galveston County. He does ghost tours and historical walking tours because when you take a ghost tour, you get a lovely smattering of local history too.
The history.
So it's
But the fun parts of history.
I know,
Yeah.
with all the cool ghosty bits. They also do paranormal investigations and events and psychic readings.
Yeah, well, we'll include links to Eddie's Instagram and his website and all that on our show notes so people can find that.
And other haunted loves. If you're ever in New Orleans and you are about to sign your name to the lease on a house that's got a sign out front that says not haunted, I think you're about to have a spooky day.
Homespun Haints is hosted by Becky Kielimnik and Diana Doty, and produced by Homespun Haints Media LLC. Editing and music by Becky Kielimnik. Show notes by Diana Doty. If you have a ghost story and you'd like to be considered as a guest for this podcast, please visit our website at homespunhaints.com/submit.